Hello friends and fans of the Frosty Nut, and welcome to another little video that I decided to make. I've been trying to scratch my head and figure something out, and I still can't get it. So maybe someone can actually come together in the community and maybe sort this one for me, or maybe it's not sortable. But I'm obsessed with the battery voltage display at the moment. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I am a little bit obsessed with the battery voltage display, but I don't think we can actually have it in the way that I want to. So here we got the two displays. We've got the one on the Rosefire A107, and we've got a 4-digit module TMI that's plugged into a separate Arduino. So we have two Arduino Nanos plugged in here, and we have two different showing here. This one, my Arduino test one, I have the padding, so that we have 0.7, which is 0.7 on the battery one on the Fenix display, and on the Rosefire we haven't got the padding, so we've just got 0.60. So we still have 0.6. We still have 0.6 here, but we have the extra 0, which the Fenix actually is showing. The problem is that when it goes to a whole number, and I mean a whole number, that it doesn't work out. Now I've got to put a bit of power in there. The battery's dropping too low, so I'll put a bit of power on. Put a bit of power back into the battery, charge that up for a bit, and you can see that when we have the batteries on, we got 28.6 and we got 28.6, which is correct. Let's turn that off again. Take that battery off again. 1.8. We'll bring it up a bit more. Just throwing some charge into the battery just by turning the battery on, letting it get some power from the external source. Turn it off again. Where we're at 2.8, we'll go a bit more. Okay, we'll just let it get a little bit more power in there, because when it goes to the whole number, this is where it goes a little bit wonky. Let's see where we're at now. 4.3, that'll do. Alright, we'll turn the power off. Okay, so, for example, we've got 4.2 and 4.2, which is still correct. We have 4.2 volts. But when it goes to the whole number, when it goes to the 4.0, this is where the problem is, when it goes to the whole number. Now, I've also checked this in Mobiflight, and the problem is I don't think there's a way to fix this. So here we got 4.1 on the Fenix display, 4.10 on the Rosefire, which is still the correct voltage, 4.1. That's what we're dealing with. But when it goes to the whole number, watch what happens. If you haven't seen this, probably because you've never run your batteries down this low to see the 0, so you've never been curious. But here we go. So now we have 0.0, which would indicate like 40 volts, and here we have 0.04, nothing. So I know what you're thinking. Oh, we'll just add the extra digit on. No, I tried that too. Doesn't work. Okay, so we have 0.4 on the Fenix display up here, and now it's gone to 3.9 because the battery voltage is dropping, and so it goes back to 3.9, and it goes back to 3.9 here. But it happens on all the whole numbers, that it actually shows differently on the output displays. And I've tried different modules. I've tried Max 7219s, and I've tried this is a TMI 1637. This is a TMI 1637 in here. What Rosefire have done, they've got a 6-digit TMI 1637 divided in half, and here I've just got the 1 4-digit module. But we can see on our Mobiflight config, we have 3.8 on the final value, which is 3.8 on the final value, 3.7 now, 3.7. And you can see here, this is where the voltage drops. If I make this bigger, you can see these bigger numbers, because these go down slower and slower, so they expedite down. But what we don't have is a 0 showing in front, which may be part of this equation. So here on the Fenix, we have 0.3.6, okay, 0.3.6, and we have 0.3.6 showing on my module, and 3.6. So we still got 3.6, 3.6, 3.6. It's still 3.6. But I'm a little bit pedantic, trying to get this to be exact like it always is on the Fenix display. Maybe that is not possible. Maybe we just can't do it that way. So it's kind of weird. But for those of you who want to look at the option of why these two are different, who may not seen my other videos about padding, padding is very simple. If you just go to your battery voltage display, and it's only on the display where the modules are outputting, so you'll see in your Rosefire it'll be the same thing. So you'll see one has we have two that say volts and not set. That's correct. That's the reference points. And we have two that say voltage LED. So if you're using my V6 or V5 config, it'll be the voltage LED displays. Okay, so what you're doing is you're just going to click on there on the edit, and you see how it's got use padding. You just want to tick that on to use padding. You don't need to change anything else, and that will then do the same on there. Push that over 0.3.3, 0.3.3. But again, when it goes to the whole number, it's not going to be correct. And if I leave it on this one, on the Rosefire, as well as my module, we'll see what happens there. And I've also tried switching on, because this is a 4-digit one, I tried moving them down a few digits, or I've tried, using the 4th digit, and I'll show you that won't work either. Because if I, for example, turn the first one off, turn the last one on, and mind you, I'm not showing the decimal point on my module. I don't know whether that makes any difference, but the decimal point still shows correctly. But anyway, if I do that, and don't worry about these numbers down the bottom, I was experimenting there, that didn't do anything. So we go okay there. So now we've moved it over 0.3.1, so we've moved it over, but then see what happens now that I've moved mine over. Mine says 0.03 because we've gone to the whole number, and this one has 0.3. And what does the Fenix say? Fenix says 0.3.0. So we need that to say 0.3.0, not 0.3, and not 0. But when we go off that whole number, it all comes back to the normal 0.2.9, 0.2.9. So does anyone have an answer to that? Is there a way of doing that? I think it's got to do with Mobiflight. Honestly, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's possible that we can have that option on, which is a shame, because here, now that we've dropped below the 10 volts, we should have 2.8 on the final value, but we don't have 2.8 on the final value. Now, the other problem is on the right one, this can be a problem. Now, at the moment, the right one hasn't discharged, so there's not much I can do about that for this video. But the right one, if you have an incorrect reading as the voltage drops, or anything looks funny or anything like that, all you do is go into your right one and just either tick or untick the padding. Here I've got the padding off. You can tick it on or tick it off. That will all you need to do there, as far as if there's any error with your display on the right one, or the left one. It's a matter of personal preference. It's a matter of personal choice. I'm just trying to get it to reflect exactly what is on the Fenix at all times, but I don't think I can. This has been bothering me for a few days and a few nights, and thinking there must be a way. I've done these videos and I've shown you guys how to fix these things, and I'm not an expert with Mobiflight or anything like that, and I'm not a mathematician, but I've just been obsessed with trying to figure out, is there a way it can actually display the correct voltage at all times, but I don't think it can. I think that's the limitation of Mobiflight, and possibly something to do with the display itself coming out of the Fenix. I really don't know. I don't know how they actually calculate that to work it in. So if anyone has an answer, anyone can figure that one out for me, or explain to me what I'm not getting. But I think what needs to happen here is on the output display, on the final value, instead of saying 2 point whatever, it needs to say 0.2 point, and then that would always, I think, maintain if we had a 0 there on the front. But I don't think there's any way we can do that. So I've tried the padding, I've tried everything, tried all I can do, and I just don't have an answer as to why it does it. So if anyone has an answer, let me know. All right, thanks guys. You have a great day. Take care and stay frosty. I'm sure one of these days we might be able to figure this out. Maybe Mobiflight needs to do an update on their mathematical calculations. I'm not sure. But if I do figure this out, in fact, just quickly what springs to mind, I don't think this will make any difference, but if just quickly springs to mind is compare and interpolation. I don't understand all these modifiers, but if we had to compare, use comparison, if current value is, let's try this for experiment. Okay, let's say it's 0 0. Let's say it's 0 0. Then set it to 0 1. I don't think that's going to do anything at all, but you know, everything's worth a shot. No, I don't think. Well, we're on the whole number. No, 0.2. No, that should be 0.2. 0.19 now. No. Okay, well, that was a nice thought. I just thought maybe there's something there, and possibly there is, but I don't know a lot about the modifiers yet, so I'll just have to experiment a little more with that. But anyway, thanks, guys. If someone does come up with an answer, please let me know. As always, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that. Tell everyone about Frosty Nut, and let's spread the word around, and let's learn these little these little like cliches or catches, or these little tricky things about Mobiflight. Let's learn them together, and let's be a good community that comes up with ideas and suggestions for everybody. Okay, thanks guys. Stay frosty. Bye bye.